Whoa!
Ooh, welcome back, everybody. We're continuing our trek through the Undead settlement. We just spawned back at the beginning of the whole area, and now we're gonna head back to that pyre. This time you're gonna head right instead of left, though. Again, I always like to come this way to avoid the ambush from the thrall up here. And then if you want to skip the other thralls down on the ground floor, you can just come out here and drop down right here. It'll take a little damage, but that's okay. And then if you want to avoid fighting all these folks again, then just stick to the right. But there'll be two. Oh, well, in my case, one. I got lucky there. And then we're going to head down this bridge. And two more undead workers will come around the corner. At least there should be two. Where's the second one? The second one is chilling behind the wall for some reason. They're supposed to both come around the corner, so if they do, just take them one by one. And note that the one I just killed will throw firebombs, so make sure you're aware of that. If they don't, then just slowly inch your way forward to grab their attention. And now inside here, in the little alcoves, are two more undead warriors that will get up the minute you walk towards them, so get close and immediately start swinging. And then loot the corpse on the other side. Work your way down, and there's another thrall that will drop down. This one has a giant flamberg that causes bleed damage, so just be careful of him. He deals a lot more damage than your normal thrall. And then you can open this door. And there will be another thrall chilling on the roof up here. Sometimes he'll drop down, sometimes he won't. Either way, you can get this item on the right, which is just a copy. Yeah, be careful because he'll throw darts at you. There we go. We get another copy of our starting shield. And now we're actually gonna head across the bridge here. But be very careful, there are 3 undead workers up there that will start throwing firebombs, which is a problem considering that these barrels are full of gunpowder. So instead what we're going to want to do is drop down to this ledge where that other undead worker is. Be careful though, because the workers up here can still hit you with firebombs, even from down here. And there's a second undead worker under this bridge, which you can barely see right there. So if you can, we can try to get a drop attack on this one, then immediately turn around. If you go under the bridge, the firebombs can't hit you. And there's an item here we want. And then sprint forward to avoid getting hit. And we want to light this bonfire, but I suggest not resting at it unless you absolutely need to, because it's going to reset all the enemies we've just killed, and we're going to do some backtracking, which means we'll have to kill them all over again. With that lit though, we can go through to the right, up the stairs, do a U-turn, up the roof, and we're now on the same bridge that the undead workers are hurling firebombs at you from. So come here and quickly take them out. Continue up to take this one out. And then we're going to head around the corner to find what might be the most important NPC for us in the entire game. The Pyromancer Cornix. He's going to be the one that sells us the majority of our spells.
Aha, welcome. I am the Crut here. I hear you well then.
So make sure you ask to learn his pyromancy.
Most real pleasure.
And he'll transport to Firelink Shrine. And right next to him is the hand axe, which is the weapon we started with. Alright, with that in hand, you can drop down there, but there's actually an enemy directly under this bridge. So let's get the drop on him. It's another version of the giants with the saw blades. There, you can see them. Notice how they also have that wooden board strapped to their back? It means you can't backstab them. But you can still sneak up. This one has a pot that he loves to slam down in front of him several times, and it's random how many times he does it. So, always be careful. Just when you think he's done with his combo, he'll do another one. And if he hits you, you get stunned, and he can just chain them together and kill you instantly. So, just be very careful of them. Again, though, the Dark Hand is extremely useful because they can stun lock people. So with him dead, that gives us free reign to loot this area, which is great because we have an item up here on the... Don't know what that is. And if you walk past that, drop down, there's actually an enemy here you can hit for free souls. Oop. Well. There we go. And he's hiding the Fire Clutch Ring, which is extremely useful for us considering we deal a lot of fire damage. The downside being that it also increases our damage received. But it is totally worth it. To get back, you gotta come to the left and around, watch out for the fire. And now we'll continue through. You got some enemies that you can kill for easy souls. Careful of the patrol walking up and down this walkway here. And if we go around this building to our left, there's an item, but be careful because as soon as you approach it, a thrall will climb up the wall there. Walk back, and now we're going to head down to that walkway, which I suggest just dropping down here. I got lucky with the dog. Stick to the right because you don't want to aggro these enemies across the bridge there. Don't worry about that item just yet, we'll get it soon. But we can come this way and into a sewer area where there's a dog and several rats. So you can either take the ladder or you can just drop down. You take no damage from that one. Or need to heal up. And wait for these 3 rats to come to you. They will attack, and you can swing in. Ow. They're very aggressive, so just wait for them to attack your shield, and then attack back. Creep forward. Get this item. And in the fog here are actually 2 small rats and 1 giant rat. So slowly creep forward and you can actually lock onto them and hurl fireballs from a distance. Sometimes. Sometimes you fall short. Should be able to hit the giant rat though. When you kill him, you get the Blood Bite Ring, which I'm actually going to go ahead and equip. You get 4 rings, so it's beneficial to always have 4, even if you're not necessarily going to use any of them. Like, I've yet to even trigger the blue Tearstone ring, but I still have it on. And there are a good number of enemies in this area that deal bleed damage, so the Blood Bite Ring is very nice. Continue on, come up the ladder, open this door, and you have now unlocked a very important shortcut back to the second bonfire we have discovered in this area. But again, unless you really need to, don't rest just yet. It's best to try to hold off resting at bonfires as much as possible, because then you can slowly clear out the area and not have to worry about any of the enemies as you backtrack. Because now we're going to backtrack all the way to the barn where we fought the thrall with the long two-handed sword. Again, don't worry about the item on the bridge. Just run on back. If you pull any aggro from the enemies on the stairs, just keep running, and you'll eventually lose their interest. Oh. I heard this guy's still alive. Usually they get blown up by the firebombers. Go all the way back through the barn to the bridge we crossed, and this time go left and through this debris. And there's a cliff face that we can climb to get to these houses. Be careful of 2 thralls on the roofs that will shoot blow darts at you as you work your way forward, which is very annoying considering that there are 3 thralls on the path that will try to ambush you. The first one being, keep your shield up at all times during this section. Right there. So just inch forward to him, keep your shield up, get him to drop down. Luckily the blow darts don't do a whole lot of damage, so even if you get hit, it's not that big a deal. The biggest issue with the blow darts is they can stagger you, which lets you get hit by the other thralls, making them very annoying. So, as I march forward, there's going to be 2 more, one on my left and one climbs over the cliff. So just work slowly. There's him. And there's the other. And now, go to the left and work your way up this roof and you can kill this one. And immediately turn around so you don't get hit from behind, because the last one is up the ladder here. Okay, we've got all of this annoying part done. We can drop back down, we can get this item. Come around to the building for a plank shield. You can also talk to this cage corpse for some cryptic hints about something we're about to do. Climb back up to the roof and work our way onto the other side to get to the roof that had the first thrall that dropped it down. And across from that is 6 firebombs. Work your way back. And now for a little bit of a secret. Climb up the roof. We get another item, some homeward bones, and drop down onto the other side of the roof to access a previously unreachable area, where we have another saw blade, but this one is passive. And if you get close to him, you realize you can examine him. Don't do that quite just yet, because what we're going to do is try, and this is always tricky, we're going to try to get this to drop down. But it's so hard to get it to drop down on the rocks. I always get it to fall off the cliff. So what I suggest you do is try to climb up on the rocks themselves, but be very careful. And we want to punch this and immediately try to pillage, because it's going to hit the ground and slowly slide off. If it does slide off, it's no big deal. We'll come back and get it later. Yep, see, there it goes. So we'll have to go try to get it in a different way. If you got it, it contains a flame stone plate ring. But now we're going to actually access another covenant. So come and examine this guy, and you get a little bit of a cutscene. And you are transported to what is actually soon to be the next boss arena. Work your way forward, and there will be an NPC to talk to on the left and an item on the right. This is actually Holy Knight Hodrick, who we just fought in spirit form in the last episode.
Well, this people.
Say
Yes,
indeed.
it's in- but
Talk to him
you
again.
might-
And you get the Mound-Makers Covenant, which is good for an achievement. You can get this much later in the game if you fail to get it here. You have until you beat the boss of this area to access this, but if you beat the boss before you access this, then you can still get the Mound-Makers Covenant. It just won't happen for a very long time.
Come here. You'll see.
Continue to talk to
You'll
him,
take my.
and he gives you a homeward bone.
This pit is you.
Come get the shield. And there is no way out of here except for the homeward bone that he just gave you. So open up your inventory and go ahead and use it. And we're actually going to return to the shrine bonfire. Most important thing to do here is we have 2 gestures to get and a new vendor. Talk to Grey Rat to get the curl up gesture. And then go to the other side and we find our newest friend Cornix.
I wish for transport.
If you talk to him and then leave the conversation
Do not be gone. What is it?
and then talk to him again,
I am.
you get the welcome gesture. It is not enough to just keep clicking on talk. You have to open up this menu and then back all the way out of the conversation and then talk to him again. But make sure you do that because there's the achievement for getting every gesture. Now, unfortunately, he does not have any pyromancies that we want. In fact, in my opinion, there's really only 4 pyromancies that we're going to be getting. 4 or 5, something like that. Until the moment when we buy up all the pyromancies. But as far as the ones we actually use, there's a lot of debate about which ones are good and which ones are bad. A lot of people like Great Combustion. I don't particularly like it myself, but you're more than welcome to buy this if you want. I like to just save up my souls for levels to make my fireball stronger, because I like to stick at range. Great Combustion does like a explosion right in front of you, but it's very short range, so it's good to get good in PvP. But all we're going to do, you can also purchase the original Pyromancer clothes, is reinforce our Pyromancy flame as much as we can, which should be just 2.
Do not be gone. What is it?
Then we can go sell what souls we have. What else can we sell? Again, we want to stick to having 1 firebomb. Make sure you keep your rusted coins, don't sell those. And make sure you don't sell your vertebrae shackles. Since I have 2 hand axes, I can sell one of those. I think that's all I want to get rid of. Yep.
Ashen one.
And let's level up.
Welcome home, speak. Very well, then take note.
Again, we're working towards 2020 intelligence and faith.
fashion one made of.
Alright. So now we want to travel to the dilapidated bridge. Now, a word about the archway straight ahead of us. If you enter that area, there is a portion, a field, that is full of these giant arrow-looking things. And if you continue forward in that field, then you will get pelted by said giant arrows. So what we're going to do now is do a little detour so that we can walk through that area safely. Use the shortcut we opened up just a moment ago. Come all the way to the side here so we don't pull the giant rat again. He does respawn. Although he is a good place to farm souls. Alright. Now, depending on how quickly you make it here, that patrol that was wandering the stairs could be right here. See, in fact, there they are. They start all the way back here and start working their way up, so just be careful. Now, we're going to make our way through this field of enemies. Slowly work your way forward, and when you get close to this item, the undead worker will aggro towards you. So just back away. Block, attack. And now what we can do is you can actually use your crossbow to pull these gentlemen. And you want to stay to the corner here, because if you're lucky, you can get them to fall off the cliff. Keep your shield up, because they like to throw their pot from great distances. And see, there he goes. He doesn't die, but now we don't have to worry about him. And as you move forward, you'll pull this other gentleman. You can back away and try to get him to fall off the cliff as well, but with the dark hand, he's not too difficult, so I just like to rush at him. Just be careful of him throwing the pot. After he loses his pot, he'll pull out a saw blade. And now we can take on this one. When you get close to him, slow down, and then just push the left stick halfway in so that you walk instead of run. And as you hit him, you can actually knock him off. Or just kill him. Okay. Come back and up these stairs to get this. And then we're going to go around the back of this building, but be careful because there are two dogs around the corner here. There's one and there's the other. Grab the alluring skulls. And now we're going to continue past where the second giant was. And we find a new NPC on our left. So make sure you talk to him.
Holding. If you value, if like they go on your face enough. If like go.
He insults you a couple of times, but that's okay. Before we move on, actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to shoot down that same corpse. It respawned when we used our homeward bone. This is the one I punched down, only to have it fall off the cliff. So let me try shooting it from here. And now it stays up on the cliff, so we'll get that briefly. But go ahead and shoot it down. And then let's open this door. As you make your way to the elevator, it will magically trigger itself. And we'll quickly find a new NPC that rode the elevator. So talk to him. He might look familiar if anyone's played the Dark Souls games of past.
I have to be on heaven, but like this, well.
And we meet Sigurd of Katarina. Might be my favorite. Talk to him and he talks about how the elevator only goes down, but you just saw an elevator go up. So what you can do is trigger this and immediately roll off. Which will bring down the second elevator. And then you can use that to ride up. Back in the corner here is an item. And then on the other side are some stairs. And we meet a actual giant. This is the one firing arrows down on the field I told you to avoid. If you talk to him, you can make peace, and he gives you a young white branch. As long as you have one of these in your inventory, you will not get hit by his arrows. And you can actually get one as a starting gift, letting you avoid this entire section. But since we need to talk to Sigurd to get all the trophies anyway, I like to spend my parting gift on souls. Or burial gift. Don't worry about Sigurd's musings. But now we're going to backtrack quite a ways. In fact, we're going to head all the way back on foot to that cliff where we got the Mound-Makers covenant from, so we can finally get that ring. The only problem being is that all the enemies are going to respawn. But that does mean we get some more free souls. Remember to be careful of his seemingly never-ending combo. Now I'm actually just going to sprint through this part. As long as you're sprinting, you can avoid the firebombs. But we will trigger the thrall to drop down again. And there's those undead workers, so wait for them to make a considerable distance so that we can kill these workers without pulling them. Got some rubbish, which is as useful as it sounds. And now we'll have to do this stupid cliff face again. Get rid of all these thralls again, systematically. Ow. Forgot about the one on the roof there. I'm gonna heal up, because I don't want to die to fall damage right here. That would be embarrassing. And now we can finally get our flame stone plate ring. Whew. So now we're going to go back to the bonfire underneath the building by the fire bombers, which you can reach by dropping down right here. Let's take the path of the roofs. And we can take out this thrall while we're at it. Now again, I'm going to heal up in case I die of fall damage, but if you come to the left here, or to the right, excuse me, the drop is far less severe. See? No fall damage. But again, we're going to drop right on this cliff here. That was close. Okay. And now we're actually going to travel back to the dilapidated bridge. And now we can tackle the giant field of arrows. I'm always waiting around to see if they drop anything. But no such luck. Alright, so what you want to do is once the crows fly away, just stop and wait for these undead workers to get peppered. And the giant can do all the work for you. When those two die, move forward until you see another group on your left starting to work their way forward. There they are. When you see them, backtrack. And again, they'll work their way forward and get taken care of by the giant. So just wait patiently, and you won't even have to lift a finger. Once the mallet wielder that came out of the shed gets taken care of, that usually indicates the last one. So now we can loot the area with plenty of items, including extra young white branches. There are, I think, 3 or 4 of these white birch trees in the game. Each one has 3 young white branches around its base. And you have to get every single one of them in order to get a ring later on. And since there's an achievement for getting every ring, we have to get every one of these young white branches. Okay. With that taken care of, we have to do a tricky jump right here. So gain some speed and click the left stick to get over to this side to get our very first undead bone shard, which is amazing. It increases the amount of HP or FP that our Estus flasks replenish. Then you can just roll off of the side to make it back. Now let's continue to loot down this way. There's also a reinforced club, which is very good if you're a strength build. Work our way into this kind of graveyard-esque area. If you keep going straight back, there will be an item, but be careful of the thrall that will drop down and attack. He immediately tries to drop on you and deals a lot of damage with his giant sword. Loot this for a shield and a full set of cleric armor. And then come around here for our very first set of ashes. Ashes are what you give to the shrine handmaiden to increase her inventory. And the mortician's ashes particularly let her sell an item that is required to get all the achievements, so make sure you get it. Come towards the shed and you'll be attacked by a pitchfork wielder, and in the back is a red-eyed undead worker with a sickle and dagger. You can get up on him as he's getting up and take care of him very quickly. Climb up the stairs, and if you turn around, there's an item we can get to by jumping onto this platform. So get another run up, jump, and we get our great scythe, which is a good dexterity weapon. Then continue forward, and we're actually going to be right in front of the boss arena. But before we do that, we've got some extra things we need to take care of. Right in here is the boss. But what we can do is go ahead and open this shortcut, so once we are ready to fight him, we can just head straight back there. Try to rush on forward if the patrol is not here yet, because there's an item I would like to get before they arrive. On the left, there's a dog we can kill, and then grab this ember. And now what we're going to do is stick to the left so that we can avoid all of these people. Unless you want to fight them, which by all means. We can pull this guy. And then be careful as we move forward, because there will be the dog back. And the rats. We are making our way back to the bonfire. There we go. There we go. Okay. We're gonna go back to the bonfire and back to the Firelink Shrine. You're more than welcome to use a homeward bone if you want. Make sure you try to always save at least one though. Come and talk to the shrine handmaiden. Handmaid. And give Umbral Ash. And then we want to purchase the Grave Key. Feel free to sell things if you like. Make sure to keep the young white branches with you. But we can sell the rubbish, it does literally nothing. I never use alluring skulls, so let's sell those. I think I want to keep everything else. Yeah. I haven't got any duplicates of anything. Alright. Oh yes, and actually I should have done this earlier, but the flame stone plate ring is more important than the blue tearstone ring. Especially for a mini boss we're coming up towards.
Welcome, host. Speak very well, then take note.
Get a level or two. It'll just be one.
Farewell, Ashen, may the flame.
And before we leave, make sure you burn the undead bone shard. So now we have an Estus flask +1. We're gonna head back to the dilapidated bridge. Head into the sewer. And let's take care of the giant rat from here. Like I said, this is a very good space to farm souls. Because you can just do that from a safe distance. And now we have the key to this door right here. Drop down, take a look to the right, and you have a loincloth and a shrine statue of Velka. You can request absolution or dissolution, which is for hollowing. You can reverse your hollowing. Just notice I'm not looking so good. You can also, if you killed an NPC, I think, you can get him back or something like that. We are never going to use that statue. It's mainly for online play. What we're going to do is go back the other direction and take a left for a halberd, and then take another left. And as we approach this, a new skeleton enemy will spawn. Take care of them, and as we move forward towards this item, 2 more will spawn in the middle here. Along with 1 in the corner and 1 behind us. So quickly kill him and turn around. That guy was sitting right here. Ooh, and he dropped some human pine resin. Get the soul in the middle and continue on. And this pile right here is actually a skeleton that likes to reanimate after you get past it and then ambush you. So turn around as you're walking, and the minute you see it move, go back and take care of them. And then turn back around because a second is going to spawn. Take care of him. And we can continue on. And now we are at the bottom of that ravine that the sawblade enemies fell down into when we baited them to fall off the cliff. And we have a crystal lizard right there. So the key about these crystal lizards is they always run away from you, so try to corral them towards the wall so that they have nowhere to run. So like for instance, come from the left or from the right. And you get another heavy gem. Now be careful, because there is the 2 enemies. See where there's the bridge that's through the sewer shortcut. When you try to get one of these items, I think specifically the one in the corner there, he's going to try to drop down on you. So what you can do is grab this and immediately dodge backwards. Dodge, dodge, dodge. And then take a swing. Oh, I missed. And then we can get this item. Work your way back, and now go forward from where we exited. And above you is another corpse hanging from a rope. So switch to your crossbow, 2-hand it, zoom in, knock a bow, or a bolt, and shoot it down. And switch back to the dark hand. And we get a blessed red and white shield +1. In here we have a single meaningless rat, but as you approach it, tons and tons more will crawl out from these catacombs here. So slowly work your way forward, and as soon as you see him coming towards you, raise your shield and get ready. It's a total of 6 of them, and they are aggressive. But with them taken care of, we get our first talisman, which is used to cast miracles. And since this is one of the good things about a pyromancer, because since you are increasing intelligence and faith equally, you also have access to many of the sorceries and miracles. So if you so choose, I'll show you that you can get a healing spell, and you can equip the Saint's Talisman. I like to equip it in left hand 2. And you can use that as a healing spell to complement your Estus flasks. I tend not to run out of Estus flasks, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to save my souls for levels, but you can certainly do that. So come up, take a left, and you find a new NPC.
Who is someone? Oh, the dark little creature, please.
Touch her. And we meet the blind cleric. And we get the prayer gesture.
Oh, forgive me.
Talk to her again, and she tells you she's Irina, and accept her service so that you can purchase miracles. She'll teleport back to Firelink Shrine, and you can open the what once locked door right next to Aegon.
You've got... Very well. I am Egon. I am
Egon.
allied to you and... Oh. What's the matter? I'm an...
Talk to him again until he says he's allied to you. And now we're going to take on that mini-boss I mentioned earlier. Head towards the tower and activate the elevator and then turn around. And halfway through you'll see a wooden plank that you can drop down onto to access a little secret area. And there you find where you're hearing the noise from. Sigurd is quietly contemplating how to defeat this giant demon. Talk to him, I think, 3 times? Yes. And he says, don't rush the demon, which is exactly what we're going to do. When we pull the aggro from the demon, Sigurd will join the fight. So, when you get his attention, start walking back towards this way so that he doesn't have to walk quite as far to help. And normally for giant mini-bosses and bosses such as this, I suggest using your firebombs or your fireballs. But since he is literally a demon of fire, your Dark Hand does much more damage than your fireballs do. Your fireballs do next to nothing. And this is also why I suggested putting the Flame Stoveplate Wing on first. You'll got many attacks, wide sweeps, a charge attack. Just try to get Sigurd to pull the attention, and you should be able to get through just fine, especially with the Dark Hand. He's very weak to dark damage, so when you kill him, you get your fire gem, and Sigurd takes a little sit down. Talk to him several times, and you get an item and 2 gestures.
That was what you must be, but your wrong man.
You get the toast gesture.
Well, you.
Talk to him again, and then talk to him one more time to get the sleep gesture. With all that done, head back to the tower, and on the left is an item. Then turn around and head all the way to the other side. And on the left here is a great early game weapon for strength builds, the large club. And then we can come to the corner here and up on this roof to get down these two corpses. This one's a little hard to hit with a melee weapon considering its elevation, but you can do it. And you definitely want to get this. This gets you a Pale Tongue, which is another Covenant item for a Covenant we've yet to discover, but we're going to have to farm several of those in order to get all the achievements. And farming in this game is a beast. So every chance we get to get a free Covenant item, every playthrough, we're going to want to take. And we can knock that down for a good set of armor. So I'm actually going to take this opportunity to change up my equipment here. And now is actually a good time to unequip our light crossbow, since it adds a non-zero amount of weight. And since we only need it for a few specific instances, I like to keep it unequipped until the time in which I need it. That lets me maximize my armor, which I'm going to see if I can equip the northern armor. I like to start with the chest and then the legs and then the head and then the gloves. And look at that, we can equip the full northern armor set. I think our rings are fine right now. Yep. And so we actually might still be able to equip the crossbow. Yep, we can. So didn't even need to do that. Alright, now we're sitting pretty. Again, as long as you're under 70%, you can still do a dexterous roll. The minute you go, or I guess I can't do it. Well, here, I can try. Yes, here we go. The minute you go over 70%, your roll becomes way worse. Almost non-existent. So we need to make sure we stay under 70. And you can actually go over 100, and if you go over 100, you can't roll at all. Alright, let's go into this building. You got a bunch of cages hanging. But you have an item over here for some red bug pellets, which increases your fire resistance temporarily. Come up this ramp. Take a left. Take another left, and as you approach this item, 2 of these cages will drop down. So take care of them. And let's grab the alluring skulls. And then work our way down this walkway. There will be 2 dogs coming around the corner. There's 1, there's 2. Before we grab that chest, there's an enemy over here I want to take care of so that he doesn't sneak up on me. And as we go for the chest, the minute we open it, 4 of these cages will fall. So don't loot the area just yet. Go ahead and take care of these cages. And then we can get the human pine resin. Ooh. And sometimes they drop 5 fading souls. And now we have a difficult section. 2 evangelists. The one on the left will start to walk towards you when you gain their attention. The one on the right will stay back and shoot gnaws at you. So what I like to do is change to the fireball, focus on the left, and just start pelting them. Once you get a few hits in, you want to back away so that you don't get hit by the spellcaster. dropped her hat. And now we can go take care of the other one. So here, this will give me a chance to show that attack. Luckily, when she does that grab attack, if you properly evade it, then you can get several free hits in. When you kill both of them, you can make your way out to the roof. On the roof here, if you curve around to this set of stairs, you get a ring, which is pretty useless if I recall correctly. I think it increases like backstab damage. Oh no, lowering equipment load increases attack, but we're not gonna worry about that ever. And then you can drop down to this awning, which will enable you to access this tower. If you come around to either side, there's a homeward bone, or 2 homeward bones. And then here. Now this is the tricky part, because if you just drop down, you will die. But you can kind of see in the corner there, those 3 twigs. That makes a platform that you can jump from, or jump to. So what you have to do is you have to start outside of this doorway and run at an angle, and we're going to try to jump off the corner here. It's quite tricky, and you might want to heal up just in case. Because even if you miss, you might still survive. But as long as you jump at an angle towards the corner, you should make it. And then from here, you can drop down. In here, you've got a set of Mira armor, minus the mask, which we can access later. And behind these barrels is a Chloranthy ring, which is very good. We're going to equip that over the Flame Stone Plate ring, because this raises stamina recovery speed. And again, works towards the achievement of getting all the rings. And we are now back to the giant stairway that had the patrol and the boss arena, which is perfect. Now we can go take care of that. If you need to rest, then either homeward bone or work your way down this walkway to the sewer area at the end and use the bonfire. If you're lucky like me and don't really need a rest, then we can take on the boss. If I recall correctly, there is a summons for this boss fight, but it requires you to have progressed much farther in the story. So I like to tackle the boss now and just not even worry about the summons. Technically this boss is optional, but if you're trying to get all the achievements, it certainly is not. He's going to give us an item that lets us change our boss souls into items. And since several of the achievements require you to get all the rings and miracles and pyromancies, etc., and a lot of those come from boss souls, so we will have to do this. Let's go ahead and heal up. There we go. Even though we're actually not going to use our fireball very much, which is unfortunate because this boss is very weak to fire damage, but the aiming is just so difficult considering the boss's size that I find it's not worth it to try. When you walk on in, the boss does not spawn immediately. You want to come to the right here and start taking care of some of these minions. Starting with this one, because he's the most deadly in the room. And then I like to just work my way down. Eventually we're going to call the... Oh, there goes. The tree in the corner comes to life. Before we start attacking him, we want to get rid of all these minions. though, because the tree can raise up. And yeah, do that. Now, here's the hard part. Oop. Is you have to attack these little pustules in order to do damage to the boss. Watch out for his wide swings. Raise your shield when you see him moving. And when he slams down, he creates a puddle that stays for quite some time, and some minions drop down from the tree. But if you can pop 2 of these pustules, I like the one on the foot and the one in the stomach, then it triggers phase 2. So heal up. Phase 2 starts when he breaks the floor. It gets rid of all the minions, but you don't take any fall damage, and a new hand erupts from his stomach. So, let's see here. Oh. There's a pustule on his back. Ah. There's a pustule on one of his legs. I think it's the left one. You can also make these little seeds fall down and erupt. And then you can still hit his stomach again. Yeah, there's a pustule under his leg there. There you go. And you can also hit his hand. Ow. There's that, so now I should be able to finish them off. And there we go. One of the easier bosses of the game. You get its soul and the transposing kiln, which is what allows us to trade in boss souls for items. And an achievement. And a bonfire. And you might notice we're actually back in the area where we found the Mound-Makers Covenant. And in fact, there's Hodrick. If you did not get his homeward bone last time, it'll be right here. But let's light up the bonfire and return to the Firelink Shrine to do a little bit of cleanup. Back at Firelink Shrine, let's see what we got here. First, I think we want to talk to Greatwood.
Ah, there you are. You know I'm well. Everyone's I might as well.
Every so often, he will ask if you want him to venture out into the world to pillage. And if he returns safely, then it will increase his inventory.
Thank you. Great delight.
The first trigger being killing the curse-rotted Greatwood. So send him out to pillage, and then the next time you load the area, he will be gone, and then the time after that you load the area, he will return. Let's come and take care of the transposing kiln, which can be given to Ludlith. Make sure you say yes, not no. And now we can begin transposition. So here's some of the things we can get right now with the boss souls. The only one of which we're going to need to get is the Pontiff's left eye. I like to take this first playthrough, since we have to do 3 playthroughs total, and we only ever have to use the same boss soul twice. We have to use the soul of the strayed demon twice, I think, is the only one. So what that means is, we can spend this first playthrough using all the boss souls that we don't want, and level up a lot faster, because the first playthrough is the most difficult. And then on New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus is when we can trade in the boss souls for the rings, sorceries, the miracles, the pyromancies, whatever. The only soul we're not... The only soul that we're actually going to give to Ludlith is from a boss called the Old Demon King, I think is his name. Because it gets us a very powerful pyromancy spell. Everything else, though, we're going to pop. So let's do just that. And at this time, I like to buy the tower key for a whopping 20,000 souls. This is the perfect time to do it because we just beat a boss that gave us like 10,000 or 12,000 or something. Some large number of souls. And we're going to sell the great soul that he gave us for an extra 3,000. So, as long as we haven't been dying too many times, we should have enough to purchase the tower key, which opens up a wealth of items, including what I think to be arguably the best ring in the game. So let's go ahead and do that.
Ashen one.
And now to use the tower key, which we will be doing next time. So until then, stay safe.